Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. A lot of y'all have been asking more videos about the dating stage. And I know I don't particularly work with so many folks who are in the dating stage. To be very honest, I mainly work with long term couples or married couples in couples therapy. But I do see these behaviors as well when I'm working with individuals and they are an avoidant, and I'm seeing how they kind of navigate themselves through the dating stage. And today we're going to actually talk about a video that I think is positive and can help everybody involved. How to help an avoidant or understand how an avoidant opens up to love in the dating stage, because that's different, right? In the stage where it's a little bit more in depth in terms of romance, a couple years down the line, it can be a bit more complicated, but at the same time, factors can be a bit more simpler because you guys might be living together or you might have frequent communication, to which those things are a lot easier to leverage, as well as any boundaries that you set might be more, your partner might be more receptive to because they're already committed to you. So this video is not necessarily going to be under that category because you guys are just dating, okay? And so the very first way to help an avoidant to be open to you and be more connected to you during the dating stage and hopefully to progress further along the line in the relationship is when you acknowledge areas that you need to address or correct, right? It's not just a modeling behavior. It also builds trust in general. If your partner did this, I'm sure you would feel very safe and comfortable with them. Now, avoidants feel like that, but like times 20. That might be an exaggeration, but at least like times 2 or 3. Often, avoidants feel somewhere subconsciously, which is why they're so resistant to compromising. They actually feel like they're always the one that has to give up and do it or fix it or change it. Because when they were younger, why they're so closed off is because they actually had to sacrifice their emotions for people around them. Now, it's not always direct, but often it actually is. Their parent might literally say, stop being so emotional, stop being so sensitive, whatever it may be. I used to be like that too. And I remember very clearly my dad, and still to this day, he always says it. My dad is avoidant, very, very avoidant, dismissive avoidant. He has been single for so many years. He could not stay in the marriage. He is literally like a very much a loner. He's by himself in Florida with just all of his stuff, his trucks, his house, his lawn, and she just is with that. He very much is very distrusting and he's happy that way, but it's very hard for him to function in relationships where they need compromise. That was something he struggled with, and it's because he is extremely closed off emotionally. And when I was younger, I remember he would always tell me, and to this day as an adult, he still tells me, but he would always teach me as a dad. He would say, don't show your emotions. It's a sign of weakness. Then people will get that out of you. You can't let them see your emotions. If anything, you have to hide them. He would even say things like, disguise your emotions or don't tell anybody what you feel. It's not good. Like, he would say that. And obviously I was a kid. I didn't understand. And a lot of avoidants might have that situation. Maybe not as like detailed. My dad gave me like instructions, not healthy. I'm not blaming him or throwing him under the, like putting him under the rug or no, sorry. Throwing him under the bus. But that was something he said a lot. And he would also say things like, you never want to trust anybody. The person you trust is yourself. He would say things like your best friend or the person you trust the most is your money, right? Avoidants have an interesting relationship with money. Money, not compromise, progress, achievements, those are your best friends. No one can ever take that from you. And he would say those things. And so a lot of times avoidants feel like, I'm always going to be taken from. I always have to sacrifice. I always have to do everything. Because that's what happens, right? When someone teaches you, okay, you can't have emotions, you can't express, you have to be as stoic as possible. That basically means if somebody is trying to get a rise out of you, you have to manage all of those feelings. So they actually are compromising all the time. You just don't realize that that's what they're doing. That's actually how they became this way. And so when you acknowledge the need that you need to address, they feel like, okay, you can regulate yourself, so I don't have to regulate you and me. I can just regulate myself. You can regulate yourself. And so immediately they start feeling like you're a really safe person. And it also means if you can address the needs that you need to address in your relationship, whether it's your own emotional regulation, wherever it is, that means they're allowed to have room to mess up or ask you for things as well. And so this one is a really important one, okay? The next one is actually to be honest about your opinions in general. A lot of folks feel like you have to hide how you really feel because an avoidant might get offended. I don't know how common that is, but I don't see that very common. Often, even if they don't like your opinion, it can still help because it allows them to feel like you're a person, not a like a placeholder or something just in their world that will not be there. If you're a person that makes a stance in their life, they will notice you as you would with them, right? If they just placate or just manage or do everything you want, that at one point will feel kind of offensive, right? You might not think very good of them. You might think less of them, and they might perceive the same thing if you're always molding your opinion. So being honest about how you feel is really, really important in these relationships. And in general, if you like something, maybe you're a person who doesn't like nuts in your brownies. You might say, you know what, I do like brownies, but nuts is not my thing. I don't like nuts in my brownies. No offense to anyone who does, right? Other folks like that. They like that complex behaviors. I've seen people do walnuts, and I just can't stand walnuts, right? There are other folks who maybe their opinion is even stronger. Maybe they feel like, yeah, like I have a friend where she thinks certain colors, which a lot of people feel this way. I don't get it. Certain colors you have to wear at certain seasons, right? I'm a person who like typically wears summer colors or summer clothing almost all year round, which I know is weird of me. And that's her opinion. That's my opinion. But if I shifted my opinion just because I'm afraid to lose my friend or whatever, or she did the same with me, that relationship wouldn't be able to be built on respect. And it's the same thing with relationships, right? When you're with an avoidant partner, they can learn to respect you because you're honest about your actual opinions, okay? The next one is actually giving them the benefit of the doubt. This is important in relationships in general. It's a very important skill, especially in dating because you don't know each other. If that person has not earned your distrust, they likely deserve your trust until perceived otherwise. Not always the case. You can still be guarded about particular things, but you cannot always think, okay, this person is taking a while to answer my text. They're with another girl, right? That's not healthy. It creates you to be in an emotional unstable state. That might not be the best word. Emotional dysregulated state might be a better word. And then you might react poorly, to which will push them away. We don't want that. Try and give them a benefit of the doubt until they have proved otherwise. The next one is communicate as if you are on the same team or building a relationship. That doesn't mean you're saying, hey, we're going to get married in 3 years, so let's do this. I'm not saying that. That might not be the best move, not right now. But you could say something like, you know, I think both of us really like X, Y, and Z. Why not we do this together? So you're talking about together. Maybe a couple months you might say, you know, I think that we really enjoyed doing X, Y, and Z. Why not we do it again? You might even say something like, I really like how we communicate. How can we get on the same page about this issue, right? You're starting to say, we're on the same team, we're on the same page. And that subconsciously helps them to be more comfortable being in a relationship with you without the overwhelming concept of labeling the relationship, at least, you know, right away. The next one is you want to focus on positive moments that build comfort and trust. Often we might see some sort of side-by-side type of connection, playing video games together, playing basketball together, cooking together, whatever it may be that's kind of low pressure to which you guys can communicate, but you're not necessarily face-to-face, to which is a little bit less intimate, but able for them to also attach it to a positive memory. Now, I'm going to summarize and then we're going to wrap it up, okay? The very first one is acknowledge areas that you need to address. The second one is be honest about your opinions in general, okay? The third one is give them the benefit of the doubt. The fourth one is communicate as if you are on the same team or building towards a relationship. And the fifth one is focus on positive moments together to build comfort and trust. I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.